Heyo, my name's M1 and this is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. This is my submission for SGDQ 2018. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, if you haven't played it before, is a party puzzle game. One person will actually be playing the game, and they can obviously see the bomb, but all of their friends who are playing with them cannot see the bomb. They have to get the manual online, and then use that to talk the person who's defusing the bomb through the steps they need to take. Which is a lot of fun, but it's also kind of slow. So when you're speedrunning it, you just memorize the whole 23-page manual, and then you just do everything yourself. Which is a lot more difficult, but quite a bit faster. So each bomb consists of a bunch of modules, which are the individual puzzles. A bomb can have anywhere between 3 and 11 modules on it. There are, I think, 10 or 12 different modules in the game. Some of them are a lot easier than others. Obviously, as we're at the start of the game here, we're getting a lot of the easy ones, like wires and buttons. It's also starting to mix in some harder ones now. So a kind of weird thing about speedrunning this game is that you blow yourself up after you defuse a bomb. Well, whenever possible. Most of the time. Which is kind of counterproductive in a game about defusing bombs. The reason you do that is it makes the transition back to the menu faster. So it saves you like 5 or 10 seconds over waiting for the fanfare to play and everything at the end of each bomb. Alright, should talk about the modules we're doing. So, sorry, this one's complicated. Okay, so this one's called Who's On First. As you can see, you have to figure out which button to press from this set, or fail at it. Alright, so on that Who's On First module, you get the word in the top box that you have to read, and then that word tells you which button you have to read, and then based on the button you read, that gives you a list of words. Then you have to pick the first list of words, or the first word in that list that appears on the bomb, or on the module. Which is probably one of the more difficult ones. It definitely takes the most memorization, because you have to memorize a list of up to 9 words for each possible word on a button. There are some optimizations, but it comes out to 197 words total that you have to remember in order. So that one's tough. The one I finished at the end there was called Password. So well, I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out just from watching it. But you have to click through the letters, and then once you find one that makes a valid word, you have to hit submit. It's a list of 35 words that it can be, but it'll only ever be one of those. Or only one of them is allowed on the bomb at once. I apologize if I have to stop halfway through my commentary at some point. A lot of these take a lot of focus, so I might just cut a sentence off halfway through when I need to think about something on the bomb. So that module on the right is called Morse, and as the name would suggest, you have to use Morse code to figure out what it's saying. So this light flashes in Morse code, and then you use that to figure out the word, and then that word tells you which frequency you have to put in down here. Then you hit transmit. There's also an alarm clock in this game that we fortunately haven't gotten bugged by yet, but that'll just turn itself on randomly during the bomb and gives you some lovely sound effects. So this is a button that we just finished. The way that works is... Sorry, I have to think. Oh, there's that alarm clock. Much better. Right, so button was what I was talking about. The way the button works is you have to use the color of the button and its label to figure out which is the first condition that applies to it out of a list of 7. And then those conditions will either tell you to press the button or hold it. Usually hold it. And then if you have to hold it, the light next to the bomb will come on. And then the color of that light tells you when to release the button. Well, not directly. So like this white means I have to wait for a 1 to show up in the bomb timer. You can also get blue, which means you wait for a 4, or yellow, which means you have to wait for a 5, and red, which also means a 1. Yeah, as you can probably tell from a lot of these explanations, these were designed to be difficult to memorize because they didn't want people to play the game this way. But, oh well, we did it anyway. Makes it more interesting, right? More of a challenge. Just like commentating makes it more of a challenge to remember what you're doing. Oh man. So that module I just blew myself up on is called memory, and as the name suggests, you have to remember what you do in each step, which makes it kind of a nightmare for doing while talking. Oh boy, that was no excuse for that one. That was just sloppy. Let's see what other modules we can talk about. Oh, simple wires. Those have been popping up a bunch. So that you have to use the number of wires to tell which, I guess, set of rules you have to use. And then that set of rules will be based on the color and the order of the wires. Will tell you what you have to do. Oh my goodness. Now I can't do anything. Alright, let me just shut up and finish this bomb. Alright, there we go. That was rough. So that bomb was the first, what's called hardcore bomb, which means you only get 1 strike instead of 3. They get a lot more common as we go deeper into the game, and hopefully I will do a little better on them in the future. 3 strikes and I still blow it up. Oh boy. Alright, let's see if I can get back on track now, not blow myself up 3 times every bomb. Not that the time really matters. The world record for this is 27 minutes, which is obviously quite a bit of margin for error with an estimate of 40. But of course, with this game you never know how bad it's going to go, so I gave myself plenty of room for error. That's more like it. Alright, so this is section 4, which is named Needy, and as the name suggests, it introduces the Needy modules. Those are modules that you can't deactivate like the other ones. You don't solve them. You just kind of have to deal with them periodically as they annoy you. Oh my gosh. Alright, so this is the Needy capacitor on this bomb. So it'll just keep counting, counting down if it fills up and the bomb explodes. So there's no way to solve it, you just have to pull the lever down if you're running low on time. Give yourself a little bit more. That one's probably the middle of the 3 in terms of annoyance, I guess. So this is the Needy knob, which is the most difficult one playing casually, but it's the easiest when you're speedrunning. Because you do actually need to solve it. You need to point its knob to one of the 4 directions. But it's really easy to solve, and it gives you a warning sound before it blows up. Unlike this one, which is Needy vent gas, which is well, it'll give you a warning right before it blows up, but it's not early enough for you to actually do anything about it. So that one sucks. Gives you the warning sound early enough for you to realize you messed up, but too late for you to do anything about it. So you just kind of get to cry as it blows you up, and there's nothing you can do about it. Lost my spot. So that one was wire sequence that I just blew myself up on. So as the name suggests, you have to keep track of how many of each color of wire you've cut in the sequence. And then you decide based on that whether or not you have to cut each of them. That was a bit took a while to strike out. Couldn't find the places to cut. The module start talking and immediately blow myself up. That's brilliant. So the module on the top right that we're going to see here again in a second, this guy is called Simon, obviously based on Simon Says. But so the lights will flash and then you have to, based on that, figure out which button to press. Well, the tough part about Simon is that it depends on whether or not the serial number has a vowel in it and the number of strikes you have, which means that if you mess up while you're putting it in, then the pattern changes and you have to, well, you don't have to start over, but you have to figure out a completely different sequence. Alright, so this is the first of 2 bombs that have all 11 modules on them. Kind of intimidating. Certainly the slowest. So that module at the top left that I just solved is called complex wires. You can see they're a little more ornate than the simple wires. The way that module works is you have to use the color and the LED, whether or not it has an LED and a star, on each of those to figure out whether or not you need to cut it. There will be one of 5 cases. Either you have to cut it, or you don't have to cut it, or you cut it based on one of the other properties on the bomb. So that one is also pretty heavy on the memorization. So the module in the top left there that I did right at the end is called a maze, and the name makes it pretty self-explanatory. You have to get your white dot through an invisible maze to the red triangle. There's 9 possible mazes it can be. You tell which one based on where the circles are. Yeah, so that's why I say the knobs are the easiest one, because when their alert comes on, you have enough time to go back and solve them. So that brings us to what might be the hardest bomb in the game, which is another one with 11 modules. Pretty crazy. we get into what's called the exotics section, which is mostly just like a sort of fun post-game. All of these bombs are exotic, as they describe it. They've only got 1 or 2 different type of module on it. They're just sort of an extra challenge for people once you beat the main game. Alright, so that was our all-Simon bomb. The next one up is all-complex wires, which is the third and final bomb with 11 modules. It's also by far the shortest of the 3 11-module bombs, as we will see here in a second. Yeah, a little faster than the other ones. Next up we have an all-maze bomb, which is probably one of the most difficult, just because if your finger slips once on any of the 8 mazes, then you're done. Play some Flappy Bomb. About as compelling as Flappy Bird, if you ask me. I.e., really boring. Now we have all wire sequence, bridging off of our all complex wire one, which can also be kind of a pain. See how we go. I forgot how many reds I've cut. Okay. There we go. Didn't want to blow myself up on the last wire of the last module of the bomb, so I just played it safe and flipped back through it. Alright, now we get our all passwords bomb, which is a fun one. actually a really good one. Got lucky with a couple of the starts. There weren't any really hard ones. And we're at the end already. So this is a split between Morse and Simon, which is a really fun one. And that's the game. Alright. That's everything. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.